Hi, my name is Cindy Rang with the Fabric Patch in Ephrata, Washington, and today we're doing a special box opening featuring just the extra wide fabric. All right, so we're back here in the back of the store. We've already pre-opened, I don't know how many boxes there were. I think there was like 8 boxes, because what happens is when the fabric reps come through and they show us, we tend to order almost every extra wide that we see, because it ends up that after a while we kind of run low and maybe there isn't anything that's going to go with your fabric. And for every bolt, although it seems like there's a lot on there, at 12 yards, we're really looking at probably enough for 3 or 4 quilts. So sometimes we have a lot to choose from, sometimes not so much. So we're going to pan across here really quick and then we're going to show you a little bit better. These new ones are the ones that are sitting out front here, and I'm going to show you up close. So there's a bunch to choose from. And then as we're going, we'll kind of show you just a little bit back in the back over here. And so let's start down here. This one is absolutely fantastic. Probably will not be here long because it is this universally perfect fabric. Beautiful, bright polka dots on a black. And then there's also some really cool stars on a black. And you can kind of see back here in the back, there are some whites. We do have some pieces that are 118. And immediately following this box opening, we're going to show you our little debut of all of the stuff you really need to know about 108 and 118 backings, the math for your back, how to choose, how to decide, and making financial decisions as well as color decisions. This is kind of, is this grungy, Brianna?
It's color field.
Color field. Beautiful. So
yeah, I guess it is
grungy-ish. It's mostly gray, a little bit of yellow. This you might remember, and this is how long it takes, because you probably saw this 6 to 8 months ago. We got it in one color. I think it was the Babam. I think it was this pink one. And then when we reordered it in all 3 colors. You'll see the teal one in a minute. So this is how long it takes. This is a short bolt. We also don't have any choice. There's only, she says, there's 9 yards on this one. So, I'm not even going to bother opening it up, because you'll be able to see on the website what this looks like. But it's this huge, very interesting, beautiful, beautiful piece. Here in a minute, you're going to see the teal. I'm just going to flip this forward. You can see some of the other choices at the moment that's in there. There's some stuff that was going to look really good with like your Tim Holtz. There's some other fun modern stuff. We've got some clouds. This we just opened not too long ago, the butterfly. More Tim Holtzy, more tan stuff. This is more of the color field. So this is a rich kind of a sienna brown with some black on it. And then we've got this really nice gray, shades of gray. And then this one I would say is kind of charcoal and black. And then a very pale gray with some white on it. And again, behind it, there's some snowflakes. This I think we've had for a while. It almost looks like angel wings. So some really beautiful stuff. There's some stuff that's floral, some more modern stuff in black. And then we're going to get down. These 3 are new. This is the teal one I was telling you about that I was going to show you. So I think beautiful. And then here is just a nice clear blue, just a really nice pure blue. Another really pretty kind of a swirly texture on black. And then some of the other blues that we have to choose from. This is a tiny little star.
And that's actually black.
Black. And this one is an ombre. Gray and black. And then here's some blues. This one. I love this one. I can't imagine why there's still some of that. That's just, some of these are so pretty that all you need is a little bit of this and maybe a minky on the back, and you can be practicing on your long arm and just have a really nice blanket. I love this blue sunflower, dark blue, a very modern blue, more blues coming down.
And that blue cobblestone one is a little bit of flannel. Now, there's probably only a yard and a half or yard and 3/4 on there, so it'll have to be a smaller quilt, but that might be one of the only flannels
we have. We order it every time we see it. They just don't make it very often. Here's another new color filled one.
And that's a dry brush.
Oh, dry brush. Oh, dry brush. And this is kind of teal. Would you say dark teal? Dark teal. And then blue stars mixture. and then kind of a colonial blue. Would you say that's dark blue and black? Oh, this is like the one that we just saw, only it's a little different colorway. Similar to that one, not very much left on that one. Some more teals, we get into greens. We have some greens. This one is a new one. Wonderful. So in our store, we are going to put this with the Western. And so you'll see that sometimes that there's baby stuff in with baby stuff, pirate stuff in with pirate stuff. So most of our extra white is back here, but some of the stuff is going to be with the collection where you're looking for it. This is a Northcott one. Probably looks familiar. These are some of the ones that just came in, I think, a couple of weeks ago. And then some other fun, really bright purpley. I love this flower. Hold on, this is not a new one, but I just feel like, right? I mean, that just hardly needs anything else. And then this one is an ombre
and that
one.
one, the floral one, was from...
Not long ago.
No. It's all in the 108, I guess.
Yeah, you'll find it in there. And then there's an ombre one that's left. Beautiful. Oops, I kind of made a mess of that. And then these two are new. This is another brush strokes in kind of a dusty blue. And this one is a color field. I know. Another one that's just sort of universally perfect. Really nice. Here is another red. Now, is this brush strokes? Yes.
Yep.
Really nice. Kind of a Christmassy red with some little dark stuff in there. And then a purple one. Beautiful. And then more of these gorgeous florals, just to remind you. Oh, beautiful. This is probably more purple than blue. But purple and blue.
I think, yeah, the color's coming out really good on the camera.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Bright floral. I feel like that's another one. It's just that piece of fabric. You don't hardly have to. I think the back of the quilt, and I don't know that we mentioned this a lot in that little video, but I know that I've talked about it before in other things that if I put just a leftover old piece of fabric on the back of the quilt, I'm never happy with that. I've stopped doing that because I cannot tell you how many times I will finish a quilt, give a quilt, and the first thing somebody does, you guys all know this, is they flip it over and they look at the back. I think the back should be just as beautiful as the front. I think it should all look cohesive, and it should all be kind of fun. So it's really nice when there's some that are just beautiful and they could almost stand alone. Now, for some of these, you want to just be careful because every once in a while you're going to find somebody who is going to flip it over, and all of your wonderful piecing is going to be one side and this is going to be the side that'll be up, and there's nothing wrong with that. Every once in a while they just want the aesthetic to be a little different. I love that. So we have this particular design, I think, in about 3 or 4 colors. A bunch of reds, little stars. These are Frank Lloyd Wright. We've got a red and a blue. This is that one that I said kind of looked like angel wings down there. There's not a lot of this, but so it's in this purple, and then the other one down there is kind of tan. Oh, see, I just can't believe there's some of this left. I think some of these, the reason there's some left is because it's very little. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're looking for 2 yards. And if
there's something in this lineup that you were quite certain you didn't see on mine, shoot an email to info@fabricpatch.net and attach a picture and say, hey, I'm looking for this one. And we can tell you, oh gosh, so sorry we sold out. Or, oh yeah, I have a piece. Because you never know what isn't on the website. You know, we always assume, I always put a little bit of extra, hold some back just so that I don't have to disappoint anybody. Right. And when you thought you're getting 3.5 and you only get 2 3/4. So, it doesn't hurt to shoot a picture and an email to info@, and, you know, the worst thing we're going to say is, oh, so sorry.
So sorry.
Oh yeah, that's the rainbow.
Mm-hmm. Look at this. And it goes all the way to blue.
Yeah, that one's cool.
Fantastic. All right, and gray.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to see how long this lasts. So the kids are out of school. It was a half day, and today was a pajama day for Wyatt, and he was fairly upset that it's only a half day, right? Because you wanted to wear your pajamas all day. But that's a bummer. And you won that, right? That was kind of a cool thing. And then, of course, we have Harper. And Harper won a kindness award. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Kindness award. Oh, except now sis says, uh-oh. Oh, no!
Good job, sis.
And then I think this is kind of fun because she was having...
No! Wait, look up there.
She was having barbecue sauce with Dad, and that looks like hello.
Oh yes, I love your curls.
Harper, it's okay.
Come here, Maisie. Shoot. All right, so Maisie, come here.
She's right here.
Come here. Anyway, it's not mustard on her hands. It apparently is marker.
Yes, it's yellow highlighter.
Yellow highlighter.
I mean, there really is a bruise on her forehead, but it's not yellow. She colored it.
And so,
fabric.
okay, so is this one your favorite?
Oh, the blue stars,
Blue
really?
stars. Is this one your favorite?
It matches your
This one is
pants.
Maisie's favorite?
You strong, Tootsie.
And then Harper is not picking out a 108. She is gone. She'll be coming back. But in the meantime, let me show, we have new stickers. So I've been waiting for these to come in. So what's kind of fun is that we, hold on, I have something for you. We,
You're gonna have to spit it out, Nana.
I know, she took it.
Where
Here,
did you
take
need
a
to
roll.
take it? Here.
There you go. So we keep ordering all of these fun stickers to put in your guys' orders, and we do still have some of the squirrels, but we have some new special ones. So with your
Aww.
so let's let her see it first. What it is, Maisie?
Maisie, look.
Maisie! Mom, this is my favorite.
What is it?
Nana, this is my favorite.
Who is that?
It's Maisie. Yeah, this is my favorite.
That one is your oh.
Oh, that's so
Can you show them?
cute. So, that's your favorite fabric?
Yeah.
That is a double-sided minky is what Harper chose.
Who is that?
baby?
Is that a baby?
No, it's you.
No, it's
It's
Maisie.
you. It's you.
She's hiding them. They're mine.
She's collecting them.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, be nice, Raya.
Maisie, I got you.
All right. All right, and now it is mayhem. So I don't know how long that lasted. Happy shopping, and remember to stay to the end. So what's going to go next is our little tutorial about 108 inch
this is
fabrics,
mine.
well, extra wides, and what you need to know in terms of math and selection. And yes,
Were you on?
I don't have one.
I'm staying with that.
Say bye.
Bye.
All right, we're going to talk about math, but I promise to keep the math part down to just a couple of minutes. Brianna has warned me to not be too mathy. And so I'm not going to be mathy. I'm going to be visual because there's a couple of things that I think that we need to talk about. We need to talk about how to figure out kind of how much you need if you're kind of doing it on the fly and you're ordering your fabric at 1 o'clock in the morning and there's no one to talk to. And then we also need to talk about the expense, the difference between clearance fabric for your backing, the perfect fabric for your backing, or extra wide fabric for your backing, so that you're making an informed decision. So first I'm going to get to the, bear with me, but the teeny tiny little mathy part. Okay, first let's talk about resource material. If you really want to zone out over the math part, I just want to suggest this particular reference tool. There's many reference tools on the market, and maybe you already have one, but I kind of like this one. There's a lot of information in it, including this on page 31 that talks about all of the backings, and if my quilt is this size, which layout do I need? And they went ahead and figured the whole thing for you. But sometimes I think that even having this graph, sometimes it's important for you to kind of know how to figure that out yourself. Okay, let's talk about the width of fabric. So let's just pretend for a moment on our screen that what we see is a basic width of fabric, piece of fabric. So we know that we typically, it's 42 wide, and then we can get whatever length we want. So if we have a relatively small quilt that is, say, 38 by, say, 60, then we can probably get 42 wide by 65 inches, and we have enough for our quilt. What you want to know is that if you're taking this to a long armor, they are typically going to want 4 to 6 inches on both sides and 4 to 6 inches on the top and the bottom. If something is teeny tiny, you could probably get away with less, but you'll want to talk with your long armor about that. So what's really nice is that if your quilt is relatively small, and let's say we're talking about 38 by 50, you could really go ahead and get a width of fabric piece and a 1.5 yards of fabric, and you don't have to do any piecing at all, and life is good. Okay, so let's say that we have a quilt top that is 60 inches by 70 inches. So what we know is that, again, if this is our width of fabric, so we've got 42 inches here, and we've got 42 inches here. If we were to sew these together with our seam allowance, what we have is we would have really a usable length of about 80 inches. So that's always a good thing to know, is that when we sew our width of fabric, we've got 80 inches. So whether we have 80 inches in length or if we have 80 inches in width, because of what we're doing, we know that when we sew it together, that's a key number to know. So here, if we do it this way, we've got 80 inches in length. Then for my quilt that is 60 by 70, I really need maybe 66 to 68 inches. So all I need is my 42. I need a 68-inch piece of fabric and a 68-inch piece of fabric, which is just under 4 yards. So kind of a key bit of math that I think is interesting to know is that for 4 yards of that perfect fabric that is in that collection that you really, really love at, you know, maybe roughly $13 to $14 per yard, is going to cost you about $52. Wide backing, if you got something that was 108 inches, so there wouldn't be a seam here, it's 108 inches in length, a little bit more than you need, but you're only going to need 2 yards, it's going to cost you about $40. So it could be that there is a perfect wide backing, or for maybe about $10 to $12 more, you can get the exact backing you want. Or if you find a clearance fabric, you could probably save about another $8 to $10. It just sort of depends. Okay, so let's talk about a vertical seam. So a vertical seam, as I mentioned before, is going to give you a little bit longer length if that's what you need. The other thing is that every once in a while, you're going to find a fabric that's directional. And even though maybe it's even a little bit smaller, but no matter what, you really want it to go up and down. So again, keeping in mind that by the time you've trimmed off your salvages and you sew this together, you've got your 42 and your 42. So no matter what, we've got about 80 inches wide. And then our length, if we've got a quilt that's say 72 by 90, this would be about the only way that you could do it. That way, what you're going to get is you want maybe 96 inches here and a 96-inch piece here. So if you're 42 by 96, this is a 2 2/3 yard piece of fabric. This is another 2 2/3 yard piece of fabric. Sew those together and your piece that you'll have will be roughly 82 by 96. So that's going to be 5 1/3 yards of fabric. And again, it sort of depends. Are you using clearance fabric? Are you using fabric that's on sale? Or are you using that perfect right off the shelf? It goes with the collection. If it's that perfect right off the shelf, goes with the collection, you're probably looking at roughly around $70 for this backing. But if you use an extra wide, you only need 2 1/4 yards. If you have 2 1/4 yards of fabric, and you've already got your 108, that's going to be $42. So it's a fairly significant savings. And so I just always suggest you kind of do that's why it's important for you to know and to do a little bit of math and just check and see if there is a wide backing that will work. The other thing too is every once in a while you have those great big huge king size quilts that you need to put 3 pieces on. So again, if we've got 42 by, let's say 108. We've got 3 yards of fabric here. We've got 42 by 108. We've got 3 yards of fabric here. 42 by 108, 3 yards of fabric here. By the time I sew these together with my 1/4 inch seam allowance, I've got 108 still by 120. So this is pretty massive, but it's 9 yards of fabric. So 9 yards of fabric, you're really looking at about $100. Unless, again, maybe you can find, you know, some clearance fabric that's absolutely perfect. But if you're doing an extra wide and you can find something that is 118 inches long for that really nice quilt, or 108 square, you're looking at 3 yards of fabric, which is on extra wide is probably going to be about $60. So there really can be a cost saving with that, as well as something that's kind of easy. So I'm going to show you one other thing. Now that we were done with the mathy part, that was it. That's all of the math we're going to talk about. Now I just want to show you a couple of things about extra wide backing. Okay, so hopefully your local quilt shop has a significant collection of extra wet fabrics. Here at the Fabric Patch, we have a lot of it. We tend to keep a lot in stock and on hand because we encourage you to finish your quilts. So a couple things we want to mention about extra wide fabric. One is that it is quilting quality fabric. It does have a little bit of a different finish on it. It probably has a little bit more starch. And sometimes that grain, it might not be 80 square, but it is definitely 60 square. So that means that if you have leftovers, if you've got that 20 inches at the bottom by 108 that you didn't need, you can go ahead and cut this up and put this in a quilt and use it up. It doesn't matter. You'll find that there are cottons and there are batiks and there are some really nice digital prints. Sometimes the price will vary just a little bit depending upon that, but it's generally an extremely good deal. The other thing that you want to know is on a typical extra wide bolt, there's usually only about 12 to 15 yards, which means that if there's something that you see that you like, there's probably only 3 to 4 people that will be able to get this bolt. So I tend to buy it when I see it, when I know that that's exactly the one that I want. So the other thing that we like to mention is that typically people will tear their backings. We always do. I don't say everybody always does because I have seen people who don't, but I'm going to suggest that you do because what happens is this is double folded on the bolt. And so in order for us to lay this flat on the cutting mat and cut off a 2-yard chunk for you, it's possible that it will be really uneven, almost like, you know, an hourglass with that little dog leg going on. So we always rip it. That way we know for sure when your long armor or when you go to pin it onto your machine, your top, your salvage bottom, and of course your sides are going to be perfectly even. We always like to mention that because when somebody gets their fabric in the mail from us, of course it's going to have that kind of funny looking edge. We always make sure that we have a couple extra inches there because there is a little bit of stress on that when we rip it, but it's really the only way to ensure that you have everything that you need for your backing and it fits on there perfectly. So we always rip it. All right, I think that's about it. I just wanted to make sure that we were all clear about how to kind of figure out what you need, how to do the math. If it's an issue of economics or color or size, we're always here also to help you figure out the math that you need for your backing. And if you have any questions, check in with us or your local quilt shop. Thank you for watching our video. We invite you to leave a comment, hit the like button, or better yet, subscribe to our channel so you never miss an episode. You can also visit our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or Pinterest pages, or find all of those things and our online store at fabricpatch.net.